Good morning, officers. This year's annual training will differ slightly. We are here to engage in a crucial debate on the Tennessee versus Garner, 1985, ruling, which discusses the use of deadly force against a fleeing suspect. Officer Dorsey, you can begin.
I want to be clear. I oppose the ruling. Officer Hyman did not intend to kill the suspect, he intended to stop him. The officer followed Tennessee law at the time, which allowed deadly force against a fleeing felon.
That is the problem. Deontology teaches us that consequences do not justify actions. Even if the officer's goal was to prevent crime, it was not morally right to shoot someone who was not a threat.
Are we suggesting that law enforcement should let criminals flee if they attempt to run? How does that uphold justice? We intend to maintain law and order.
Justice is not just about punishment but moral principles. Whose life was in danger at that moment? The officer's actions must be justified independently, not just based on the law.
Good start. Now, let us explore the concept of duty in this case.
Rookie, you do not understand the realities of policing yet. The media makes it seem like we have unlimited time to make decisions, but we do not. We react in seconds.
Duty does not mean anything goes. We could have arrested him later. What happened to old school investigations? We are saying lethal force is the only option.
He was running. We cannot let criminals decide when they get arrested.
But was he a threat? That is the ethical question. The officer's duty was to uphold justice that does not overpower the cost of someone's life.
Valid points. Does duty conflict with morality here? Let us explore.
Officer Hyman acted in the heat of the moment. We rely on our training. If deadly force is part of the job, then the duty to uphold the law and protect the community was performed.
Yes, duty does conflict with morality. Capturing a fleeing suspect does not justify using deadly force, which indeed violates the suspect's right to life, a core ethical principle.
Are we forgetting the actual victims? When do they receive justice? He enforced the law.
Let's stop making excuses. Ethical policing means asking if the law itself is just.
So, we think laws should be ignored when inconvenient?
No, I think laws should be ethical in the first place. A moral rule outweighs the duty to apprehend.
Good tension. Now, let us address human dignity.
The suspect was committed a felony. If he did not run, he would not have been shot. He made that choice.
But the question at hand is, did Officer Hyman's actions respect the dignity and right to life of Garner, who posed no immediate threat to anyone?
So, where do we draw the line? If criminals know we cannot stop them, won't they just run every time?
A right to life, without any threat, is precisely where we should draw the line.
Hold that thought. What about using people as a means to an end?
Rook, you will learn through time that policing is tough. Officer Hyman was not using Garner as a tool, he was enforcing the law. His goal was to stop a fleeing felon, not kill him.
But he did kill him. The moment we use deadly force on someone who is not a threat, we reduce their life to an afterthought.
You are ignoring reality. Officers do not have time to analyze theories in the field.
Ethics shouldn't disappear under pressure. We do not get to compromise human dignity just because it is convenient.
Convenient or following the law? There is no personal gain. He protected the innocent, and death occurred because the suspect continued to disobey the law.
No matter how you word it, the officer's actions were morally wrong. The moral duty to respect Garner's life.
Great. Now, what if this law were applied to everyone?
Then it would deter crime and allow officers to enforce laws with control.
But if we made this a universal law, any officer could shoot any fleeing suspect every time. That is horrifying.
It wasn't every fleeing suspect, just felons.
But laws must apply equally. What happens if officers use that excuse on every nonviolent offender because he fled?
Therefore, we think officers should never use deadly force to stop a criminal.
Not when they are not a threat. We should value life more than the letter of the law.
Strong closing points. Let's summarize by allowing feedback from the class.
This debate highlights the complexity of ethical decision-making in law enforcement.
Officer Dorsey's perspective gave us valuable insight into the historical realities of policing, focusing on duty and law enforcement.
Correct. It is important to remember that each of us brings a unique viewpoint, and all perspectives are valuable in our collective understanding of ethical decision-making in law enforcement.
I agree with Officer Paxson, who challenged this perspective, arguing that morality and human dignity must always come first, even in law enforcement.
As officers, we will face difficult choices. Remember, our decisions will shape both justice and public trust. This is a significant responsibility, but it also empowers us to make a positive impact. All right, officers, you are dismissed.